MC for the upcoming conference for ABC, Bobbi Brinkman. And look who is joining me. We have just met face-to-face, first-time friends, and we were so excited to actually do that virtual thing together. And we have got Kristin, and she is going to share with us some amazing, wonderful tips that she's going to bring to ABC. We're not going to do a lot of interview things here. You can read about the profiles of each individual speaker and what they do and how they do it and who they serve. We're going to dive a little deeper so you get to know a little bit more about them so you can be excited to meet them. And I'm going to say now in every interview, every single speaker that is here, every education person is here is approachable. Their role is to inspire and motivate you, but they also want you to come up and have some one-on-one with them, because we learn as speakers as much as you get from us, we get twice as much back from you. So please, during the conference, do not be afraid to walk up and chat, sit down and reach out. If we can't speak to you for the moment, or we need some quiet time, we'll let you know, but we want to engage with all of you. So I'm so glad you're here. I'm thrilled that you're joining us. We're going to start off with a very easy question. Why did you want to be part of this conference, and what drove you to hitting that submit button so that you could share your knowledge with everybody?
Thank you, Bobbi. I'm so excited to be here and talking pre-conference. How exciting.
Yes.
So I have been fortunate to speak at an ABC conference in the past in North Carolina, and it was a wonderful experience. I got to know this association when it was one of their conferences closer to me in French Lick. And honestly, here's what it comes down to. I love the wedding industry. You know, I was in the wedding industry for 7 years, but my background is IT and marketing. And I've been fortunate for 2 decades to work with several wedding professionals in all different types of vendors. And I love to share and educate with people about marketing and tech. And so much is changing at such a rapid speed, not only with technology and digital marketing, but to come on and be selected to be on that stage for the conference and those attendees. Honestly, I'm just very thankful for the opportunity and feel blessed to be part of that.
And I think people forget, I think attendees forget that we as educators, we love what we're talking about and we love sharing. And most often it comes from our own experiences. Many of us get into a business because we saw there was a hole or something, or we needed something. We weren't saying we were the experts when we started. And my gosh, along the way, I know, and what I preach and my passion is to help people stay confident, that they lose that confidence as they start their business. They're all excited, and then they start doubting themselves, and that mindset creeps in. Your topic that you're going to talk about is from missed opportunities to maximize revenue. I want you to share a little bit about why it is okay to have revenue in your business and the opportunities that we're missing. And then you're really going to talk about how the technology can impact your business. How did you marry those two loves for what you do with the industry coming up with this talk?
Very interesting question. And I'm so glad you asked, because I recently had an experience to help some of our very close friends with their wedding. And I'm going to tell you, it was interesting being in that seat.
Right.
Definitely far from a wedding planner, but they confided in me and needed to pull the wedding off in a short time period. And Bobbi, I am here to tell you, it was honestly one of the best opportunities I've had to help my existing clients,
Yep.
but also to help me when I do speaking and teaching engagements,
Right.
because it wasn't hearsay. And I've got 2 decades of hearsay from
Yep.
clients sitting across from me, whether happy or tears or overwhelm, or they're not sure if they want to do this anymore. And to be able to speak from experience in a positive light,
Right.
not in a negative way. There's plenty of that out there, but
Right.
to take that experience and be able to highlight some of the missed opportunities. And by missed opportunities it isn't necessarily you didn't book that event or
Right.
you didn't secure that job. It could be missed opportunities with communication. missed opportunities to use the technology that is at our fingertips. And that, to me, to be able to share some of that experience and explain and highlight expectations and operations and communication, not just as an educator, but as someone that just experienced this, I think will bring a whole different conversation to the table. And I'm one of those, although IT is my background, I get it. When AOL was first introduced to us, for those of us that remember that, I do. I was, I was so excited about it, but my parents, they didn't know. They weren't, I'm not sure. And if we remember back, the same similar setup was when emails came about. Now look where we are. What would we do without email?
Right. This wouldn't have happened without email.
We're facing the same thing with AI.
Right.
It's not necessarily brand new to the table. It's just packaged in a way that is more for consumer use, so to speak. So what I like doing is sharing with people the benefits of technology, because in the time I've done this, in a long time I've done this, they have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. They have to see firsthand how it can benefit them or their business, for them to open their mind and open their ears to even hearing about it when you talk about technology. So for me to pick this topic, it was so important because people spend so much time, Bobbi, you know this, on putting out content.
Yep.
So consumed with, oh, I need to post 3 times a day. Nope, I need to post 3 times a week on this many platforms. But then what? What when the people do become leads, do reach out to you, or the client experience when they become your client? So much time, energy, effort, and probably money has been put into those marketing efforts. What about the rest of it? Right. And that's the piece that I know from experience. Technology can play such a key role, especially when you're in the wedding business. For a lot of people, they're wearing all the hats.
Right.
Anything that can help with business operations or marketing, for that matter, I want people to know more about.
And the attendees that come to the conference are, when I met them last year in Puerto Rico, there was people that were 2 years into their industry, into their business, others that have been here 40 plus years. The technology for all of them now, they're on the same level playing. If you just started 2 years ago and you started 40 years ago, the technology is now leveling the playing field. So having to learn that, and I think the key word that you also shared, not being afraid to at least explore it. Because when we talk about revenue, it's not just about financial, it's about time freedom, which is why we all hung a shingle, is to have some time. So automation, using AI, virtual assistants, anything that you bring to the table that helps you move your business forward and gives you that cherished time, I think is notable. Share what some attendees should prepare. How should they prepare? Come with an open heart, open mind, but is there anything they need to do before they sit in those seats and listen to you? Any homework you want to give them? Any little getting something maybe up to date? Or just come, what should they come prepared to get from you to get the maximum from listening to you?
Well, first, let me point out a couple things. The energy that you're bringing right here, that's the energy at an ABC WOW conference.
Yep.
And I think that's really important to notate. It is a fun yet professional environment. I've gotten to experience it twice, and I cannot wait for St. Louis. The other thing that you touched on, there are people that are veterans in this industry that have been in it, and they are amazing. There are people that are just started out, as you mentioned. But the best part that I've witnessed, you're not treated any differently.
Right.
I have seen veterans have conversations with if newbies, if we want to give it that word,
yes,
that they are welcomed with open arms. What other conferences? And this isn't, there are other conferences out there that are amazing, but it is like a family. It is the planning, and preparation that goes into this, you see firsthand when you're there. So no matter if you've been to a conference or not, you've been in the game for many years or you're just starting out, I fully believe that you will feel welcome here, but also from the speakers. I've met speakers that in person that I've not met before, that I've followed online, and now I carry on conversations on a fairly regular basis. It is truly like a family environment. So for my session in particular, one piece of advice: no matter where you're at in your business, no matter how long you've been doing it, and no matter what you feel your skill level is, I promise you this: you can come to this and you can walk away having some better feeling about technology, about how you can utilize technology to open up opportunities or to make better decisions for potential opportunities. And I think for me, I've heard from people say, I have a different way of talking about technology. I want people to know, you won't hear me use a whole lot of big technology words. I like to talk just like you hear me. And one of my favorite things is people will say to me, "Where are you from down south?" I'm like, "Down south? I'm from Indiana." And they're like, "I could have swore you're from." I want people to realize that they can relate with me. Even though my background is IT, I've been in a lot of these same shoes, in a lot of these same scenarios, and that's what I like to bring to the table when speaking, is speaking from the heart, but also speaking from experience, not just from expertise or classes or my education, but real world. That's what we're all faced with today. So just because you may think this session is all about technology and you have made up in your mind, automations aren't for me. Mini chats not for me. I don't want to have a business system or an all-in-one or a CRM system. No matter where you're at in your business or how many hats you are or are not wearing, you can walk away from something in this session.
And I think that's what the education team has done. An absolutely brilliant job they have done by aligning speakers that will touch everybody, regardless of the level, and bring it down to a way that they're going to walk away with the tech away. I'll add here, for those who are not familiar with me, these speakers, including myself, bring these tools that we have. We bring our experiences. We're not giving you the escalator to get there faster. We're going to give you the escalator so that you can get on it and get to where you need to get by your definition in your time. But I will say that the tools that you're learning, if you don't go home and shift your mindset and put the time into you as the tool, you're not going to be able to implement what they are sharing. Their experiences at some point, not all of it, everything that she talks about may not work for you, but parts of it, when you let it come in. So that's when I say, come with an open heart, come with open mind, open up your notebook, take the notes and learn, but then you have to implement them. You're the tool in the toolbox, that confidence, that mindset that has to make the change. And the education team and Erin and her whole conference team, you're going to see such a different energy and a vibe. I feel it. I know it. And I think this direction by the speakers that are coming are part of that. And to have you be able to share your message that a level playing field, taking what you need is going to be what you get out of this, is an impeccable and amazing, thing to bring to the table from the stage. I want to ask you this question that is kind of a question that I when I don't know the speakers all the way, I always want to know, what's that driving force? What is your mindset shift? What makes you know that you knew you needed to be submitting and you knew you need to be on this stage because you have this message right now in 2024 to share? What was that driving force?
The driving force for me always has been, I know what I bring to the table. My experience and my expertise helps people. And for me, the reason I do what I do is the impact that I leave, whether it be the smallest thing to a big shift in your business. The smallest impact for anyone in any industry, but especially those in the wedding industry, can be a very big game changer. And I think that's something to keep in mind with coming to any kind of conference. The smallest takeaways, when you take action, can make big waves in your business.
100%.
I've seen people go to conferences and have notebooks filled with information. So I want to give you a tip that I use because I also attend conferences. And it's taken me many years to come up with this tip, but although I'm a tech person, yes, I have a remarkable tablet that I use, but I also like my pen and paper. But what I've started doing is if there's something that I learn, I hear someone say that stands out to me, that I'm like, you know what? This is something I need to come back to, that I need to pay attention. I put a star, an asterisk out to the side of it. And then coming home from a conference within a week, I go back and pull out any of those starred items separately. That doesn't mean I don't ever come back to any of my notes that I took or anything, but I've made those notes because those are something I know I want to do something with first, or I need to look more into. So that's one of the tips that I would give. The other thing I will share about my experience with the ABC conference, me, like a lot of the other speakers, want people to have actionable tips, actionable strategies that you can do something with. Now, I'd love to be able to take you by the hand and do it for you. I'd also love to share with you a magic wand, but if you've not heard this before, it doesn't exist.
Right.
But
shocking.
Right. But these speakers come to the table wanting to leave you with actionable steps, tips, and information that you can utilize fairly immediately in your business. And for me, what I'm after is to help with my session is help people elevate their client interactions, boost their efficiency, and increase revenue, which is a word that you've said a couple of times throughout this, that I think some people, when they hear that word revenue, they don't fully get their minds wrapped around it. So I'm so glad that you've mentioned that. And I'm just really excited, honestly. I know that it'll be here before we know it. I'm excited to see new faces, but I'm also excited to see those that I've seen many times in the past. And I think that's what makes for a great conference is an incredible mix of attendees.
And I love that Kathy McRae, we're going to talk to her a little bit later, but she has kind of taken over the role of social media, and she has done an amazing job pushing all the speakers' bios out all the way to get hold of them. So as you're listening to this, I want you to go ahead and start following. If you're not, I want you to follow all the speakers. And then with Kristina, I want you to go ahead and maybe put a couple questions in there for her. Let her get a few things. Get to know the speakers through social media. DM them. Because friends, you're going to be making content. If you don't think that going to this conference and putting those notes down with those asterisks, as Kristina has shared, that's content for you. You might say, guess what I learned today? What have you learned? So go ahead and reach out, start following Kristina if you're not, and go ahead and ask a few questions, get to know her. And then who knows that she might just bring that up from stage. But she also is going to learn what some of the attendees are looking for, what some areas. And while we all have our slide decks and our things ready to go, I promise you we all tweak them at the end, and we tweak them during the conferences because we hear what's going on. So we want to give you what you're struggling with. We're not going to solve the real problems, friends, but we're going to help you grow your business. Thank you for spending the time with me this morning. I'm so glad everybody's going to get a chance to see a little bit of you before we get there. And again, everybody, reach out. Start that connection, start that social. As I said, Kathy's done an amazing job. You know how to find all of us. So I can't wait to meet you in person. I can't wait to see you there until we get to the conference. Be safe. I can't wait to have all of you listening to Kristina's message, and we'll see you all in November in St. Louis, friends. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks, Bobbi. I greatly appreciate you doing this and can't wait to see everyone at the conference.